Alright guys, welcome to game number 1 of Hannibal. This time we're against Bello Betty. Hannibal is your Blue Purple Luffy at home in my opinion. So if you're trying to get ready to be able to play Blue Purple Luffy, then this may be the deck that's right for you. We did just do one of our go-to combos right there. You go the 3 cost into one of the Jailor Beasts. So that way then you can use your leader effect, bounce back the 3 cost, so that way then you have a 2k in hand, and you still get a body on the field, and you go up a Dawn. So that is kind of one of your key cards. Here, we get another 2k after taking that hit. We're just going to use a 2k right there, and then use the other one. We already got the 1 Dawn that we really needed from the leader effect for that 2k, so here we still have 5 Dawn. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna swing 6, trying to clear the bodies, and then we're gonna play a blocker. We're gonna bounce her back so that way then we can get an extra Dawn, and then we're just gonna hold up this Hell's Judgment. The reason why I'm running Hell's Judgment in this deck is because it's very easy for you to just leave up 1 Dawn, then bounce one of your characters back to your hand. Now you have 2. And it just gives you minus 3k on 2 bodies, effectively nullifying 2 attacks on you. So here, they're just starting to swarm the board again. They do use leader effect. Now they're swinging 8. They minus our leader, so we're going to take this one. There's no reason to use Hell's Judgment here. That way then I can still get them to do stuff. I was debating about using the trigger, but decided not to. Here they're doing the 7, so now we can put back a Dawn, minus their last 2 attackers, be able to throw out a 1k. It still cost us 2 cards, but it's worth it, especially because now next turn we're still going to be at enough Dawn to be able to play one of our bigger bodies. So here we're just going to go 5 into 5, see if they give us the character, which they do. So then we go 5 into 4. They give us that one as well. So then we're just going to Kairos, bounce back their last body, and then we're going to play our 1 cost searcher, which got us a 2 cost blocker. So we don't have a lot of counter in our hand this turn, but I'm not expecting to get swung on by a lot of attacks. So we also didn't need to leave up the Hell's Judgment either. Here, they just go 7, we take that. Now, this turn, we know that we need to get rid of at least a body or 2. But first we're going to swing in, see if they get any triggers. It's real nice with that Jailor Beast on the field. He innately has double attack, so he is one of our win conditions as well. You kind of want to get him early to get the double attack, and all of the different Jailor Beasts have different little keywords with them. You got one that has blocker, one that is the double attack, you got one that has banish, and I think, yeah, you have one that has rush, and then there's one that's draw 2, discard 1. That's the only one that we're not playing any copies of because we don't necessarily need it. So here we did put their Sabo into life, and they're still making a big board because that's what Bello Betty does. But we are back at 2 life, and we have Hell's Judgment up, along with a bunch of counter. We did have to bounce back our Jailor Beast to do so, but it's worth it. So here, I'm just thinking, is it worth it to Hell's Judgment right now? No. I want to see how they're going to use that Dawn, so they go that way, which that's fine by me. I'll just Hell's Judgment, so that way then I still turn off 2 attacks, and it didn't cost me any other cards out of my hand. Here, we're just gonna go 6 at face. We probably could have just went for lethal that turn, to be honest with you, which we're still going to go for lethal because we have the 9 cost. but it probably was more guaranteed to go the other way. All right, so game number 2, we are against Katakuri. And this is a little bit more of a difficult matchup, in my opinion. You do want to see your 5 costs. You're only really running 1 5 cost, which is the Magellan, but it is very pivotal that you do get him in this matchup, because your opponent is just trying to spam big moms, and they generally run the 7 cost and the 10 cost. So if you can stop them from throwing down a 10 cost on curve, then you're going to be in an amazing position. So here, I'm thinking, do I want to just block out of this one? I decide to take it. That way then I still have a blocker later. And then I did just top deck into a 9 cost Luffy. So here I'm just going to swing 5. And then I'm going to play out this Luffy minus a Dawn, so that way then he has rush and swing 10, putting my opponent down to 3 life already. And then I'm still going to be able to keep that blocker up. So here they play a Searcher. They do get a Big Mom. And then they play out the Gadatsu to pop our blocker, and then they're going to swing 7 at us. So I'm just thinking, is it worth giving up 2 2Ks, my only counters, to be able to counter out of this, or do I just play a Big Mom next turn myself? So here, we're going to swing 6. They give us a 2K. We're going to swing 10. They take it. They do get a trigger to draw 2, trash 1. And they trash the Pero Sparrow, the 3 cost. And then we're just going to play out this Big Mom, trash one of the Rush Jailor Beasts so we can gain a life and put their Gadatsu as the bottom card of their life. That way then we know what it is, and we know that it's not going to be able to do anything to us. We have 2 big bodies on the field already. They're still just trying to go for life here, so we're just going to 2K, 1K out of that. And we will give them a life back on that Big Mom. And here, we're at 10 Dawn, so I'm going to start off with a 5K, and then go 9K. See if they get any triggers first before I play anything. That's one of the big things that you should always do, no matter what deck you're playing. Always be testing with the cards that you have on the field first if you're sure that you're going to swing into life, just in case triggers pop up. That way then you don't have anything pivotal to survive, get popped. And then we just play the 10 cost Kaido that bounces to, because I'm not worried about that Big Mom anymore. Here, they do hit us in face, and we get the Hell's Judgment trigger, which we play to stop them from doing a 10 cost Big Mom. So they do play out the 7 cost instead, and we trash, but we have the counter to make sure that we're safe. And now we're just going to go for game. So we're going to start with a 9K swing. They take. And then we're going to do 3 12K swings. Or 2 12Ks and a 13. All right, so for game number 3, we are against Blue Doffy. Definitely a menace deck for previous formats until the ban list happened, which got rid of Jinbei. This is kind of a 50-50 matchup as well. It's a lot more difficult, in my opinion, due to them constantly being able to swing 7. Here, we got lucky. They whiffed on their blind leader effect. And now we're at 5 Dawn. So there's a couple different things that we could do here. We could just go into the Jailor Beasts combo, or we could play out the Magellan. So I'm first just going to do a search, see if I can find a different Jailor Beast, or just see what I can find in general. So I do find the double attacker, which is huge. So I am going to play that out. I'm going to use the leader effect to bounce back to be able to get a 2k to stay in my hand. And then they're going to swing 6. So we're just going to give them a 2k right there. They do play out the 4-cost law to bounce back our double attacker. But now we're at 8 Dawn. So there's quite a few things that we can do here. One of the big things is we can just swing 5, and then we're going to be able to not only play out Magellan, but also be able to still play out the 3-cost and get a Jailor Beast, bounce the 3-cost back for the 2k in hand, and still be positive on Dawn. There, they did bottom deck our double attacker, sadly, and then they're only swinging 5. So we do finally just give them that 2k, and then they swing 6. Our hand is not looking bad by any means. It is really low on counter, and that's kind of one of the things that you gotta accept with this deck, is that you're running a lot of 1Ks and bricks. So here, we're just going to go 7k at face, and then we go 6k towards their law, and then we'll go 5k and be able to still play out the double attacker. There, they did have the Raging Tiger, and then they're still going after our board, so we will give up our last counter. So here we do start off with a 5k swing, because if I can get them to give me this next life, which they do, then I'm just going to play out the 10-cost Kaido, be able to get the free draw, and now my hand is looking really good. So here they do play the 2-cost Teach to be able to play cards from their hand on top of their deck. So they go 10k. They do get a Boa, which is going to put them up to 11k for attacking. And then they also play another Boa blocker as well with the rest of their Dawn. So here, we're most likely just going to 9 Mom, and we're going to try to get rid of these blockers first. So they give us that one. We're gonna go 5k, see if they do the free block, which they do. So then we go 6k at it, and they give us that. So this time we're just going to trash, still gain a life, and then we're gonna put that Teach on the bottom. So now they don't get to guarantee what's on top unless they play other cards to do it. So here they do bounce one of our characters, and then they do still get another body since they did do the fixing last turn. We draw into another 9-cost Big Mom. And here I'm just thinking, how exactly do I want to go about this? Because I could just Kairos and be able to bounce back their 5-cost Crocodile. It does give them a 2k, but I'm not necessarily worried about the 2k anymore. The other thing that I could do is just play out 2 of my Jailor Beasts and swing 7 into the Crocodile, see if they're going to give me the last 2 cards in their hand for it. So they don't, so now we are sitting pretty. They do take those 2 hits. They do get a trigger to bottom deck the 1-cost, and then now we're just going to play 2 bodies. I could have swung with the Rusher, but I didn't want to risk them being able to KO any of my characters. That way then I can guarantee that I can go for lethal next turn.